Welcome to Weird and Woo Woo, where I'm weird and we all get a little woo woo, okay? We're doing coffee and tarot today, guys. Coffee and tarot. All right. Which means we are sitting down and letting spirit kind of take the lead in the conversation. So we don't come in with any kind of intentions or parameters, time frames, anything like that. No agenda. Spirit gets to sit down and have a conversation with us, and that can sometimes take a minute. So we usually pull up a cup, snuggle in, and get ready for the message. So if you're going to stick around, awesome. If not, have a fabulous day. Friendly reminder, you are a sovereign being of your life. You get to determine if, how, when, where, why any messages might apply. My recommendation is to never Cinderella ship to make it fit. Okay. Everything was a-okay. There was no issues going on. And then as soon as I start, like none. When I say none, like, no allergies, nothing. I've been doing really good. So we'll see. Hopefully that does not continue. Somebody might be having some issues with a truth, communication, expression, something like that. We'll find out, though. I don't know if it's going to play into the message or not. Where are we starting, Spirit? Okay. We're going to start with Archangel Tarot. We're just going to take the ones that are face up. First one out is the Three of Pentacles. Next one is Two of Wands, or Two of Fire. And then the Four of Cups. Overall energy is the Two of Wands. At its most basic, it's taking action or choosing to take action. What type of action in regards to, hello, are you at work? What is today? No, you're not at work. God, I have to do it all the time. Taking action on something that you desire at its most basic. But it is talking about like potential new partnerships or contracts. I don't know if I'm feeling that. I'm over here like there's missing an opportunity of some sort. But then there's this one, which is like being a team player and working, growing. I know where I heard the word cooperative. Recognition for high quality work. They want you to open your eyes to the possibilities. Each of these feel very separate. They're not talking to each other right now. The Two of Wands is also considered inspired action as you're moving towards something that you desire. Queen of Cups. Ten of Wands. Okay, so this is talking about getting like working with others instead of handling everything all on your own. We do have the new partnerships kind of card, like a theme. We have the being a team player with the Three of Pentacles. There is a her group effort. It's I'm getting irritated with it. I feel like somebody's irritated with that. You're irritated at the idea that you have to work with others, or that your future might be dependent on others, or that you feel like you're being pushed to rely on others. This reminds me of my son. He's really, really, really smart. Just sometimes too much for his own good. And he can, when he gets into a group scenario, he feels like he's being held back, like he's being pulled back, pulled down, slowed down, all that kind of stuff. And he would rather do it on his own. He doesn't like feeling like he's dependent on somebody, because if they don't show up, then what? If they don't do their own fair share, which I think we all understand that concept. We've all entertained people like that. Somebody doesn't want their future or really anything to be dependent on whether somebody's there and shows up or not. There's an irritation with like the only way to move ahead is if you accept, like, if somebody else is there. I don't think whoever this is has a problem with working with somebody, but when it feels as if something is dependent upon another person's energy or presence or participation, that's irritating, because that would feel like it's slowing you down, holding you back. I feel like somebody's been held back a lot. I'm definitely picking up on an energy of somebody who feels as though, like, so you've got all these little connections that the tarot community likes to talk about, and it's always like, you have to do this together. And my irritation with a lot of those scenarios is this idea that your future, your life path is contingent and will always be impacted by that person, right? And if anybody's ever had somebody royally F up things for them, I'm thinking people who have like exes where you share children, and it's like they literally, everything revolves around the fact that they were in your life at one point. And they use children as like a ploy in a way to it's the idea of being tied, like your life, your experiences being tied to a particular person. It's wonderful to enjoy things within others. It's wonderful to share in experiences, but to have something tied to. I feel like somebody's like really discontent and bored right now. But yet doesn't like the idea of change being contingent on a person coming in. That proverbial cup. Like, why do I got to wait for this proverbial cup to come through? Because the idea of the Four of Cups is also almost ignoring and being apathetic to the cup that comes through. The idea of cooperation and being a team player. Hold on. I gotta lower this. There you go. Queen of Cups can talk about relationships moving to a new level. Let me get the next card. I think that's the reason why everything sounds so separate. The cards are not communicating with one another, and I was having that stuff in the beginning, is because how do you move forward if that's your stance? Like, I'm so sick of like, somebody must feel as though life's been stagnant because they've been waiting for some proverbial somebody to show up, whether it's just like a business partner or soul family or love. It's kind of like, why does my life have to really unhappy and really Queen of Wands? This is where somebody's at, asserting your independence and wanting to just spread your wings and fly, so to speak. I'm trying to tap into, honestly, how I really don't know how to convince this person otherwise, honestly. Spirit's certainly not giving anything in regards to that. There is the idea or notion of new partnerships, contracts, that help to propel something forward, right? To help move you forward on a desire. You're being encouraged to accept help from others, to build, grow, and work with others. That a lot of that growth will come from working with others. There's a power of creativity here. Three of Pentacles can be one of a lot of recognition, for the work that you do, for what you do. The Three of Pentacles feels very like it's separate from the rest of what's being said. Somebody may feel like they're missing an opportunity because things aren't moving forward and something's contingent upon another party. I almost want to take the Three of Pentacles and put it over there. I did say cooperation. I'm like, who are we talking about that with? Because this person hasn't arrived. Are we talking about like spirits? Like, could you fucking cooperate with us? Sometimes certain goals are contingent on others because it involves others. You know what I mean? Like in the sense of like, let's say you're trying to sell something, you would need those that desire and want what it is that you provide. So it's contingent on them, where they're at, their availability, how the economy is doing, your visibility, all of that kind of stuff. And so like you can't, I mean, business is contingent upon the other parties, but this feels like very specifically like either a business partner, a soul family, like, friendships, or like a love partnership. Someone's very not happy with things how they are, but they don't like the proverbial cup that comes in to change things up because again, that one cup, that's somebody's cup. Somebody's adding their cup. And you're like, there's certain things in your life that you don't want contingent upon that. It shouldn't have anything to do with whether you're with somebody or not, kind of thing. There's this idea, I've come this far, doing it on my own. I'm literally at the fucking 10. I'm literally at the 10. I see my goal in sight. Tell me about the 3 of Pentacles, please. See, you want 3 of Pentacles. It says, you know, recognition for high quality work, you know. 6 of Wands, recognition, success, victory. You just don't like the idea of, both of these can talk about public recognition. You don't want your recognition and success contingent or tied to another person. Eight of Air. That's just where you stand. Afraid to take action. I mean, my question is it really? Are we really in a position where it's contingent upon somebody else? Like, there's some intrepidation. I don't know why they're giving me such a fancy word for hesitation and resistance. There's certain things that are perceived and they're like, it's not that. Although I'm just going to sit here and fucking tell you that I mean, you feel like moving forward has to involve some additional person or somebody else coming in and bringing their cup. I don't know if that's necessarily true. They want you to clear your mind, though. I don't think you're going to achieve what you think you're going to achieve, Spirit, by just being like, clear mind. Okay. Because 4 cups is somebody coming in. That would be the thing coming in. Tell me about the 2 of Wands. Six of Swords. Things looking up, end of a difficult situation. That really don't fucking tell me shit, Spirit. Are you serious? Like, none of them are talking to each other. I don't think you're open to hearing anything Spirit's got to say right now in regards to this. You're like, nope, like you've already resigned. You said no. Four of Cups. You are definitely resistant. I think somebody is tired of caring for others because the Queen of Cups does talk about caring for yourself and others. I mean, it just feels like you don't want anybody to have that much influence on your future, on what you choose to do, where you go, how you do it. Not in the sense of like you think a partner is going to, you can't go out and do this, like, but I feel like you have this vision, this idea of what your life should be like. And other people are cramping that because you would have to you know, there's this sense of negotiating. Why is this so stuck? Why are we even doing this fucking reading if the message doesn't want to come out? Because I am not going to sit here and like dig for shit. I'm going to put this deck up. New Era Elements. Tower. Now see, I know you to be lying. And the Star. That's recognition. We have 3 cards now about some level of public recognition or popularity or success on a visible scale. The Star. Why does it come out with a Tower? Like, it's almost like you're meant to have this 3 of Wands. You know, 3 of Wands usually in the Rider-Waite has the world. Like, again, that's some level of, because 3 of Wands is the idea of the reciprocity. Like, you have to take the action. Okay, I don't know why the idea of partnership seems to be like hounding on me. Because all these cards can be read without that. But there was definitely a theme. I think someone thinks that their success, they're believing that their success or their level of popularity or, you know, like being well received is contingent on other people. And they're like, no, it's just contingent on you taking action and building it. It's like that if you build it, they will come. 2 of Wands is taking action on your desire. Ace of Wands is your desire. It's your passion. It's something that you have a spark for. It's your creativity. 2 of Wands, choosing to take action on it. 3 of Wands is the reciprocity that you receive as a result of that. The ship's coming in. 3 of Pentacles is the process of building and creating. For the purpose and intent for other people to see. Like, it's meant to be visible. Eight of Swords, feeling like it's not going to happen, lacking the confidence in this, and that's impacting your ability or willingness to take action. Four of Swords, you need to clear that level of doubt, that hesitation out of your mind. You not taking action is actually you missing an opportunity. You're really unhappy with how things are right now, but you're also not seeing the possibility. You are meant to be seen. Tower card is more of like a fated energy or a destined energy. It's a controlled by spirit. Your intuition may very well be telling you, but obviously this has been a very difficult, long process because you're at the 10 of Wands. Again, probably only adds to the 8 of Swords, this feeling of lack of self-confidence, being afraid to take any more action than what you are because it would be wasteful. Like it's a process to get it where it needs to go. But they're asking you to like spread your wings and fly, be confident. Why did does somebody feel like they're waiting on a person? Because that was a fucking lot of bullshit. Both of these are really about adjustments. So we've got Temperance and Six of Swords again. Somebody really doesn't, I feel like whoever I'm reading for, you really don't want to hear the shit. King of Cups. You may think that you have to wait for somebody to show up, and they're like, you'll meet somebody by doing this. I don't think you really give a shit. You don't want any kind of partnership tied to this. You're fighting it. Queen of Swords with the Five of Swords. You are definitely fighting this. Whether it's you think an opportunity will only arise or come to you through another person, or you feel like you're being told to take action because you need to be seen, and then you'll get, I don't know, but you don't like whatever this is, whatever is the proverbial Ace of Wands for you. You don't like it being tied to anything else because you are fighting it. That's the reason why this is so damn fucking hard for me right now. This is your energy. You're just anticipating more disappointment. It's like, I don't know, however way you are approaching this, you're just seeing it as, I don't want to have a person come in order for me to be successful. I should have already been successful. I should have already had progress on this. So that would irritate you, that your efforts alone weren't sufficient enough. That's for those who believe that some proverbial somebody is supposed to come in. Or the idea where like this is the mechanism or method by which you will meet somebody new. And they're like, you need to get yourself out there so you can be seen. And that irritates you. That puts a pressure that you don't like. Because if you've already been doing this for quite some time and you've not had success, the idea that the only way to meet somebody is if you have further success, because whatever you're doing puts you in front of somebody, you're like, well, I haven't for 6 years. So now like something always feels like it's being held hostage. That's what it is. You feel like something's always being held hostage. That's where the contingent on something else is. And it's like career shouldn't be contingent on love. Love shouldn't be contingent on career. It's like, it's pissing you off that how intricately entwined they are. It pisses you off because you're just fucking anticipating disappointment. You're seeing how things have gone so far and you're like, are you serious? If you haven't been successful in love, so then you're like, hey, Kelsey, if you haven't been successful with love, then you're like, you certainly don't want career to be fucking wrapped up in it. You know what I mean? Or if you haven't really been great in career, you don't want your love life to be impacted, like be contingent on it. It's like, for fuck's sake. You just fucking want to move forward, for crying out loud. But see, the Chariot talks about things being in alignment, right? When one thing's going this way and the other one's going that way, nothing really moves. This is the crux. You cannot stand one area of your life being influenced and impacted or dependent upon another. It feels as if something's always being held hostage. Okay, well, now that we figured that shit out, okay, Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles. I definitely feel like somebody is meant to have success. They're meant to have the accolades. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like Spirit has both of these fucking things hooked to another so that you don't. Sometimes when. So you don't want to leave the other one behind. Right? So you're not all about love and then just fuck the passion in life, like whatever passion you have, whatever desire you have. They don't want you to overly focus on that. Like the only way to move forward is holistically, like everything moves with you. It all goes. Like you're not going to advance in love if you're not also putting in that level of passion and concern in your desires, or you're not going to move forward on desires if you're not willing to open yourself up to. It's as if Spirit knew you would pull this shit. Spirit knew you would pull this shit. And so they've interlocked both of these fucking things. Love and I say passion because a lot of us don't want a fucking career. We just want to do something that we enjoy. Like we're not looking to climb ladders or do something, in the traditional sense. For the sake of like doing something, you know what I mean? So what, like, that's why I say Ace of Wands. There's something that really lights your fire that you want to go after. And so they've tethered each to the other. And I'm going to be honest with you, it does feel a bit like, it feels like a parent with a child situation, which might be why you recognize this. You're like, fuck you. Because I will do this to my children. You don't get to do this unless you've done this, this, and this. Unless I just feel like unless you make a decision that both are going to move forward. See, it's the thing is that you would, whatever you've had the most disappointment in, you would be willing to leave behind. That's the fucking thing. So if you're like, I want to move forward in my career, love hasn't really been that great, and so they tether it to a love or partnership situation, and you're like, fuck, I've not been great at love. Are you serious? Because if they didn't tether it, you would go all in on one. And somehow that impacts your path. So they are intertwined. You'd be like, screw it. Or, you haven't really done much in regards to, you haven't really felt successful or seen in whatever passion you have. And so you would allow love or relationship to satiate that, which would only be temporary, but you'd abandon the other thing, which seems like it's something integral to you. And they don't want you to do that either, because you would be like, so now you're in a pessimistic mind because whatever is tethered to the other, one of those areas has historically not been great. Maybe both, who fucking knows? And you're like, great. So now I'm just like, you feel anchored. You feel controlled. And so both have to be in alignment. Both have to be together to have the level of success and forward movement. One has something for the other. So if you are doing great career-wise, because this is an opportunity, right? Guess what that opportunity is? It's your fucking Ace of Wands. Whatever it is that you want and desire, the other thing is going to be tethered to it. They're going to be intricately intertwined. You will not be able to have one without the other. And your level of fuck that shit has you sitting in place, missing opportunities. Why can't I just meet my person? Because you haven't put yourself out there like you're supposed to in regards to X, Y, and Z. And you can be like, but I have. I've done this and I tried it for so many years. And they're like, well, the way in which you're going to meet your person is if you through your this creative path that you or creative endeavor that you're doing. You know what I mean? And you're like, are you fucking kidding me? As shitty as it's been, you think like you know, you really want to give up on it, or you're really like whatever about it anymore, and that's the thing that you're going to be like, that's how you meet your person. And you're all like, can't y'all throw me a bone, help me come across paths, help us bring back. They're like, no, this is the way, because you're not allowed, there's something you're not allowed to leave behind, and so it is going to be the way in which the other thing happens. And that leaves you feeling like there's parameters that have been put down on something. It has you questioning now how much this is really a desire of yours. You're going to have to work to bring both of those things into balance in order to move forward towards if it's about love, if you're like gung-ho about career, your career will be a thing that won't move any further forward until someone comes in and shares that with you. I know it sounds very controlling, but it's literally like the only way it seems on your path. And here's the thing, there's so many times and aspects. I know people love to say, well, everybody has free will. Free will is not what the fuck you think it is. If you feel like the spiritual realm does not have the capacity whatsoever to fuck with shit in your life, then why would you ever believe that they could ever help you out? Like, come the fuck on. They don't always have to have your permission. If your higher self is like, this is what needs to happen, sometimes your human is just going to have to fucking jump on board or shit's going to hit the fan. How many times do we talk about a tower moment being something that spirit controls it? Like you don't have control over every fucking thing. Okay? So free will or not, guess what? This is what I tell people. Here's the thing. You can say, I want red. And spirit's like, you need to go with blue. And you're like, no, I'm going to go with red. And so spirit removes every other color from your existence except for blue. And they're like, choose blue. And you're like, I'm not fucking doing it. Who are you hurting? You're not hurting spirit. That's what this fucking Four of Cups is. I don't like how things are right now, but you ain't gonna fucking tell me that I gotta take this goddamn cup to, like, there's this level of like, fuck that shit from you. And so you can't see the potential that you won't let yourself see what spirit sees. And I get it, especially in the world today where globally so many places are experiencing dictator-like changes where powers that be are immensely attempting to influence and control to the nth degree. There is so we see our sense of sovereignty and independence as being threatened, and we seek freedom, but maybe Spirit is telling you choosing red is not your path to freedom. Blue is. And your higher self is like, I'll be damned if this bitch chooses the wrong thing. And so, you, the human aspect's like, fuck that shit. You don't tell me what to do. And Spirit's like, I'm trying to give you the freedom and liberation you seek. And maybe it's not about you against Spirit. It's you, your earthly bound aspect, in contempt with your higher self. Tell me about the Page of Pentacles. It's your way forward. Three of Pentacles again. Things will be intertwined. Things will be intertwined. It's either you accept that, the proverbial cup from the sky, this opportunity, which is the Page of Pentacles, you either accept it or nothing. Nothing. The Death card. It's not going to move forward. So Three of Pentacles we've got the Queen of Cups and the Page of Swords. So the idea is hanged around with the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups talks about there's more than meets the eye. There's usually a fish that pops out of the cup. We think it's one thing, and we are looking at it from one perspective and assigning a meaning to it. And they're like, you need to look beyond that. You need to look beyond that. You need to gather as much information as you can. You need to really tap in with your intuition. There's more to it than the way that you are, one, perceiving it, Hanged Man, and framing it. You are creating the parameters on this. You are slowing it down. You are not seeing why this needs to play out the way that it does. I just heard, can't have one without the other. Love and marriage. You know that thing? But it was just that line. You can't have one without the other. It will bring the change that you seek. This is a happy change. You know, I think Spirit wants to tell you more about this and about what's coming. If you feel like you're not receiving appropriate guidance, it's because of your resistance to the path that they're saying you would need to take and what you need to do. And so therefore, you're not hearing anything else that's coming through. You're so focused on that one little tiny aspect that not much else is coming through. That's why it felt like nothing was talking to each other. Everything felt so separate. Now they're just singing it over and over. Can't have one without the other. It's like you think these are the two things that are at odds. I'm also seeing this. Assert your independence and creativity, and then this is care for yourself and others. Like you somehow think you really want to keep the two separate from one another. You really feel like those two things can't coexist. I mean, it is water and fire. You're framing it like an either or fallacy. And the idea that the two have to be interlinked, you feel like you're being forced, even though it feels like you would want both, just like you can be both. You can care for yourself and others, and also be this independent, fiery, creative being. But you cannot move past that you feel like one is tied to the other, and that pisses you off. You're going to have to work through that. Otherwise, you're not going to, I feel like you're missing out on so much in regards to communication from your spiritual team. And that contingency, like when you feel like something's contingent on the other, it creates such a negativity within you that then both get doused in that negativity. It impacts both areas. Yeah, you can't have one without the other. You're not going to move forward. Anything you want to tell them to help them move beyond that? Because that's something, Spirit can't move you beyond that. You have to do that yourself. You got to come to terms with that shit. You got to work it out. And if you're like, but why? Why do they have to be tied together? How about you drop your guard down and stop fighting it so much? Because I think that's really what they want to tell you. But I also feel like even if they told you, you'd be like, no, I create my narrative. And it's like, sure, you can, but you will not have either one of these. You'd have to go some completely other direction. And that's what you would be like, fuck no, I don't want that shit. You know, sometimes Spirit can ask something of me and I'm like, okay. And other times I will feel so like, what? Like, how dare you ask this of me? I want to assert my independence, my free will, my whatever. And I honestly can't fucking tell you, like, sometimes I look at those and I'm like, that's so stupid. Why was I okay with it over here? But suddenly here I'm like, fuck you. You don't tell me what to do. You know what I mean? Like why am I having issues with that? You know what I mean? Oh, this is a general one. General. Sorry. This is coffee and tarot. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, it's just. I don't know, it's all because the two things that are tied together, one of them you've not been successful in. That's what it is. So when you don't have that Five of Cups energy and they ask you something, you're like, sure. Like you don't feel like you're gonna lose out. You don't feel like, but in this area, they're telling you this has to happen, and you're like, I mean, there's a level of defense there. There's a level of like, absolutely not. And it's all because the two things they've linked together, one of them you're ready to give up on. And that's what makes you mad. Because it's not just like a, oh, well, I'll get to it later. It's a, I'm ready to give up on it because I've already done enough work. And somehow it being tied to the other thing means you've got to work. You got to put energy into it, and you don't fucking want to put your energy into it. You don't want to. You don't want to. And then to have something you do care about, want, and desire to be held hostage almost because you're refusing to do the other thing, that pisses you off. And so you're really not open. You're really not open to hearing any reason. They could tell you really good reasons. You wouldn't see it. You wouldn't understand it. You wouldn't agree with it, period. So whatever this is where you're being said, you're like whatever you've had failure, that you're just like, that they're like, you're not going to leave that behind. It goes with you. Meaning you don't get to walk away from it because you're going to have success with it. And it is entwined with the thing that does go great for you. It's like Spirit's like, I'm not trying to convince you anymore. You can work through your shit. Because it really doesn't feel like they're giving any good compelling reason, because they're like, why? You would fight against it no matter what. So what you're going to have to do is work through your fucking shit and overcome that. And when you have, things will align. When you quit fighting exactly what's what. Because again, your higher self is like, no, we hate all these other options because these two are intricately intertwined. So one is not without the other. Okay? Are there other options? Sure. Because you ain't going to be fucking happy with none of that shit. Your higher self knows. Your higher self doesn't want that shit. And is already knowing that you're going to go down one of them fucking paths and be like, why the fuck you let me come down? Why's my life got to be like this? Because you decided to throw a fucking fit like a toddler. Because don't tell me what to do. I'm independent. Watch me, motherfucker. And you wouldn't. You chose that. But you'll blame somebody else. You blame somebody else. You were born to create. Hello. Be patient. Time to ground. Yeah, because something hasn't popped off. That's why you're like, something like as of yet, I haven't had that success. So no, I'm not doing it. I'm done. I'm done. And they're like, no, you're not. Look, if you're a woman, identify as a woman, the reason this would be so fucking irritating is because we live in a patriarchal world where culture and society revolve around how much power and control can be exerted over any particular group at any particular time. And you may be in a very dark feminine era of your life. So your core energy and place of operation is sense of self. And when you feel like that is being stripped from you, a well-rooted dark feminine energy will understand when to surrender and when to fight. When to surrender, meaning release, control, and allow. Because surrender is the state of allowance. Versus when to fight. The dark feminine does not fight incessantly, consistently, 24/7, 365 to infinity and beyond. That's not the state of the dark feminine. Ground back in. Put the sword away. Be patient with the process and create. Remain in the creation process. See the signs. Dragons might be pertinent to somebody. And it says follow the moon. But I'm getting something about the unseen things. There will be signs. Not everything is going to be visible. And then a new day dawns. So basically, listen to the instructions that are given. Do what you're being asked to do. Follow the guidance. Pay attention to the signs. Continue to move forward and create. Be patient with the process. Ground yourself in the process. Not everything's going to be visible until everything is. Until it is. For those of you where your forward movement is contingent on a person, keep moving forward. Keep creating. Keep yourself grounded. Know that there's a lot happening behind the scenes that you cannot see. Look for the signs around you. Okay? And just be patient until that person arrives. You cannot make this go faster than what it is. And you don't get to go rogue. Going rogue means that you're going to abandon your creative passion because it is wrapped up in, again, some person that hasn't yet arrived. Also, I want to say for those where you're wanting love, Spirit's like your creative passion is your path to that individual. And if you're on the brink of like, fuck this shit, it's taking too long, I've put in too much, it's not worth it, and you just like, let me go a different route, I'll find love and everything, but you're willing to abandon this, they're like, you don't get to do that because whatever proverbial person that you anticipate coming in, the only way to get to them is through this. Again. And I know you're like, well, fuck it. I don't want to put any more time or energy into this, whatever it is. And it's like, well, then that's only going to delay you from meeting the person that you're supposed to meet. And it's like, you know, I feel like whatever your creative pursuit is, it's the thing that's going to elevate you and give you the recognition so that you cross or become aware of one another. And so they're like, you're just going to have to be patient in the process and ground yourself so that you don't sit there and make some kind of like Knight of Wands decision where you're like, fuck it, I'm done. It's like, don't make irrational decisions like that. You are being given signs so that you know that things are still working in your favor, that you're on the right path, that you're doing the right thing. You know you're supposed to continue to pursue this. No, not everything is going to be visible right now, but in due time, things will. So they're not trying to convince you. They're just here to fucking tell you. But you choose. You choose. That's about it. That was frustrating. Okay. Well, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. I got shit to do. I will see you at the next read. Which probably be today's Thursday. It'll be tomorrow. I was a day late on this shit, so sorry. All right. Hope everybody has a wonderful day. I will see you at the next read. Bye.